The eyes are the windows to the soul, but they're also a window into human evolution, sexual selection, and even social dominance. This is the natural way. And today I want to talk about hunter eyes. This is interesting because when we usually compare predator versus prey eyes in the wild, we use two different species. But when it comes to us humans, we're the same species, so why do some people have those piercing, deep-set hunter eyes, while others have wide, exposed prey eyes? And most importantly, can you change your eye shape naturally? By the end, you'll know exactly why your eyes look the way they do, and whether it's possible to change them. First things first, what are the defining features of hunter eyes? Hunter eyes are a set of physical traits in the orbital area of the face, but it's not just about the eyes, it's the shape, depth, and the placement within the skull. Horizontally aligned eyes with a neutral or positive canthal tilt, deep set into the skull with a strong orbital support, short vertical height of the eye meaning low scleral show, slight upward tilt of the outer corner, almond-shaped eyes, strong dense bone structure around the orbital rim, high cheekbone prominence that frames the eye, prominent brow ridge that casts natural shadow, and low upper eyelid exposure, meaning tight eyelid skin and no puffiness. Hunter eyes are calm, narrow, intense gaze, which is perceived as masculine and confident, while prey eyes are wider, rounder, with sclera showing under the iris. This is associated with fear, stress, and submissiveness. It's crucial to understand that hunter eyes aren't a single, clearly defined anatomical feature like, say, your nose shape. Instead, it's a combination of these elements working together to create specific aesthetics. So, what is the evolutionary purpose of this? Why would deep-set, narrow eyes be considered attractive or dominant? Because evolution rewarded traits that increase survival and intimidation. In evolutionary biology, form always follows function. Anthropologists believe the shape of the eyes, and the bones around them, played a role in social signaling. Prey animals tend to have large, wide-set eyes that give a wide field of vision. Think deer, rabbits, or horses. Predators, on the other hand, wolves, lions, eagles, have narrow front-facing eyes for depth perception and target focus. Early humans were apex predators, not prey. We hunted in packs, stalked silently, and ambushed. Our eyes evolved to reflect that. Hunter eyes meant better vision in sunlight, less glare, deeper bone protection, and a more threatening appearance. They helped humans read micro-expressions, spot danger in the distance, and focus on prey. They were not just aesthetic, they were functional adaptations. Let's go to the anatomy behind hunter eyes, the bones behind the look. Here's where we get technical. The eye shape is defined not by the eyeball itself, but by the bones around it. The shape of the eyes depends on the orbital bone development. The orbital depths play a significant role. Deeper orbits naturally recess the eyeballs further back, leading to the characteristic shadow. Shallow orbits make the eyes sit further out, giving you bulgy eyes. The canthal tilt. Positive will make the outer corner higher, while negative will give you a droopy look. The zygomatic bone. The cheekbone gives lateral support to the orbit. High zygomatic projection leads to more prominent cheeks and better hunter eye structure. The maxilla and midface. A well-developed maxilla supports the lower orbit and lifts the eyes. An underdeveloped maxilla will lead to bulging eyes, eye bags, scleral show, and weak orbital support. Brow bone prominence. A more pronounced brow bone, or supraorbital ridge, can cast a shadow over the eyes, enhancing the deep-set effect. The shape and projection of this bone vary considerably between individuals. And the eyelid structure. The way your eyelids are shaped and how much of the upper eyelid is visible also contribute. A heavier or more hooded upper eyelid can further emphasize the deep-set appearance. The distribution of fat around the eyes can influence their perceived shape and depth. Less fat in the upper eyelid area can make the brow bone more prominent and the eyes appear deeper. The muscles surrounding the eyes, like the orbicularis oculi, and their attachments can subtly influence the shape and how the eyelids fold. Again, it's important to remember that these are complex features influenced by a multitude of genes. You don't inherit a single hunter eye gene. Rather, it's the result of a unique combination of your genetic blueprint, influencing bone growth, soft tissue development, and fat deposition. We've talked about the bones behind the look, but what causes them? The biggest factor is genetics and heritability. Given the strong influence of bone structure, it's natural to wonder about genetics and heritability, inheritance patterns. You inherit your facial structure from your parents, a blend of genetic contributions. Population variations. Interestingly, certain facial feature, including deeper set eyes, tend to be more prevalent in some populations than others. This is often attributed to historical environmental adaptations and genetic drift over long periods. The other thing is testosterone and facial development. There are studies showing testosterone effects on orbital bone growth. Boys with late puberty often retain childlike eyes. Testosterone directly affects bone growth, that's why men tend to have deeper set eyes. There are also acromegaly cases showing extreme growth hormone equals enlarged brow ridges. Some people may also have strong brow ridges due to genetic mutations in RUNX2 gene linked to bone density or prenatal testosterone exposure. Even in women, slightly deep-set almond-shaped eyes signal symmetry. What do you think about that? Do you think more rounder or more hunter eyes in women is more attractive? I'm not talking about masculine. I'm talking about slightly like Adriana Lima, for example. Environmental factors and lifestyle. Does mewing and tongue posture affect orbital rim development? In my opinion, it doesn't. Well, at least not that much.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Chewing and jaw development. Chewing contributes to masticatory stress, which leads to a stronger jaw. A strong jaw affects eye support. The other thing is nutrition. Undereating or caloric restrictions can lead to sunken eyes. There's a difference between hollow and deep set. Can you develop hunter eyes? Can you change your eye area? The non-surgical methods you can try include facial exercises, brow and eyelid training. From what I've seen, this has almost no effect.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard. Everyone's laughing, by the way, but it's true because everybody's heard it too. Everyone heard it, right? They look at all, everyone's like, yeah, big piece of dog shit.
Understand that you can't change the orbital bones after full maturity without surgery or move your eye sockets significantly. But you can improve facial posture, chew tougher foods, practice proper tongue posture, and breathe through your nose, reduce inflammation and puffiness through diet, and optimize testosterone and growth hormone, especially during puberty. These habits won't give you hunter eyes overnight, but over years, they can make your eyes appear deeper, more confident, and better supported. For children and teens, the potential for change is much greater. Also, stop this obsession with PSL gods. I noticed when I tell you guys, for example, to practice functional habits like proper tongue posture or mouth breathing, some start thinking, I'm telling them they'll turn into PSL gods. It doesn't work like that. PSL gods are the top of the top. That's not something you easily look smacks to. I'm telling you to try and reach your genetic potential, not Chico's. For surgical and cosmetic options, this is when you have to look at the risks and ROI. Brow ridge implants are possible, but may risk infections, migration, or uncanny results. Blepharoplasty, eyelid surgery, has its pros and cons. Fillers and Botox don't give you hunter eyes and are temporary changes. You can't just tilt your eyes with surgery. The tilt is determined by the lateral orbital rim and palpebral ligament, not just skin. Also, canthoplasty can only adjust tilde 2-3 mm. You can also try styling and illusion tricks like eyebrow shaping and thickening. Lower, thicker eyebrows enhance depth. Let me know if you want me to go deeper into this. There's something primal about hunter eyes, but if they're a sign of health and functional adaptations, then why do so few people have them? It could be due to modern facial underdevelopment, the disappearance of the primal gaze. Our ancestors had strong jaws and eye sockets because of how they lived. You also need to understand the ethnic differences. The Nordic, for example, have deep-set high tilt. East Asians have flatter brow ridge, but often positive tilt. And Africans have wider orbits, but strong supraorbital ridges. It's easy to get fixated on one feature. I understand this obsession with PSL gods, but there's this unhealthy obsession where if I tell you to fix something or take care of your health, some people start thinking I told them they'll become PSL gods. Make informed choices about your health. Try improving what you can, and make peace with what you can't. This is the natural way. Thanks for watching.